Welcome everyone to the Three Cynics Gaming Podcast. I'm Clay, here with my brothers Mark and Nate. And this week's theme, the cost of gaming. That is money in gaming, how game makers try to make it, who's spending that money, and everything else around it, at least as much as we can get to in an hour. We're still waiting on a response from the winner of last week's Witcher 3 giveaway. Just to let you know, if you don't get back to us soon, we'll have to pick another winner. Just is what it is. To start off this week's theme, Nate wants to get to the broad side of monetization in gaming, and I think we'll work our way down from there. So why don't you take it, Nate?
All right. Hi, guys. I'm Nate. Clay skipping that part past couple of weeks, apparently. That's okay, though.
It sounded really awkward when we did it, so I thought I'd just roll
awkward.
it all out at once.
It's cool. It's cool. Who died and made you the cross-dressing king of justice? Oh, anyway. Yeah, so we're talking about ways, or I'm talking about the ways that games have to monetize post-production, basically. And there's some pretty despicable tactics, if you ask me. One of those tactics is season passes. Now, my problem with season passes is not that they exist. Season passes don't really bother me. I buy them for games that I know I'll get the DLC for because they are, a small bit of a discount in the end. However, as this article on techtimes.com by Cameron Cook, whatever, that guy. I can never pronounce that last name. Even
Koch?
Yeah.
Coke.
That was not the mayor of New York's name.
Oh. Shows what I know.
Ed Koch. Wasn't it Ed Koch?
Yep, Koch, I think.
Correct.
Okay. So however you pronounce your last name, Cameron, season passes sell you anonymity. And he's 100% right on that. A lot of times with season passes, they might give you the names of what you're going to get, but oftentimes it's not any details beyond the first DLC, which was probably made before the game even came out. Another sub-issue with that is that you don't get all of the DLC with a season pass, which is kind of foolish.
What do you mean you don't get all the content?
Well, you've been out of the gaming loop too long, Mark Jr.
Obviously so.
Yeah, if you go to Dragon Age Inquisition.
I bought the Fallout thing for the four they're going to add on to it. What am I missing?
Right, but if you go to Dragon Age Inquisition is a good example. If you bought their season pass, you got the 2 or 3 main DLCs, but what you missed are all the little things, the skin packs, the extra weapons that they put out, and things like that. You still have to pay the $4.99 or the $1 or $2 or whatever they're charging for those individually. So when you buy the season pass, most of the time you're not even getting all of the products they're releasing post-production.
Interesting.
No, asinine is the word there.
Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, I can take asinine. I just didn't realize that either. So
I can't think of any specific examples, but sometimes I'm sure you do get all of the DLCs. Most of, like I said, the extras you don't get are the little things like, a whole new set of weapons available on merchants and things like that.
A big example of that, Nate, is Evolve. They sold a season pass to their early adopters, and it included 6 months worth of content, and then they offered a season 2 pass after the first however many months the game was out. And if you wanted any more of the content that was coming up, you had to buy a second season pass. That's one of the more egregious examples.
Well, I guess that gets by on the wording of season pass, doesn't it?
Well, they called them
season.
They called them hunting seasons. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, season indicates a period of time, not a lifetime.
Yeah, that's true.
I've got issues with that. The anonymity, it leads down a bad path. It's selling you anonymity. It's selling you hopes and prayers.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're buying it based on I guess what? I guess faith in the company. You know they're going to give you a good product. I mean, you wouldn't do that for anything else.
Oh no. The whole idea of season passes has boiled down to the same thing as a pre-order. For me, you're paying for wishes and dreams. You're dreaming of this beautiful game and wishing that it's going to be what you're dreaming it is. And when you pay in advance, you're literally telling that company, yeah, I hope you're going to do it good because here's my money. Please do well in this because I gave you money. And it's absolutely silly. It's not as if any part of it is guaranteed. People treat it often like a warranty on their gaming experience. I got my $60 game, and if I give them another 40, 50, 60, whatever it happens to be, it's sort of an insurance policy on my game time. There will be more, and I can only hope that it's good.
I mean, that's fair. I didn't buy season passes for the Call of Duties when I bought them. You know, the first season pass I've ever bought was for Fallout. Now, am I basing that on Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas? Yeah, kind of. You know, that seems to be the key there. So, but you know, I just don't understand. I mean, I guess you take the chance.
Well, back
If
when
you want
we
to get the
played
season
Call of
pass.
Duty, there were no season passes. That wasn't a thing. You
No.
just bought the DLC map packs.
No, yeah, but the first one that came, what was it number 3? That came with. There was one of them that I bought I played a lot.
No, I think it was Modern Warfare 2.
Was it
was
2?
the first season pass
Yeah,
one.
because it was one of them, and I refused to buy it, and Rob got all pissy with me, and I never bought it. Because they were horrible levels.
When it comes to Call of Duty, there's only one map design, and it's what do you call it? Tunnels and choke points. So when you buy a season pass, you're just getting more tunnels and choke points.
Oh,
Sure.
I really
Camper's
thought you.
delight.
I really thought you were going to say closets with 4 exits. 'Cause that's my experience with Call of Duty.
That was pretty. That's fair though. That's close. But no, I wasn't never a big fan of the season pass, and I refused to buy it. But they convinced me while I was standing at GameStop, them bastards, and was like, "All right, fine."
Well, I'm gonna rant here for a second. Clay, you can edit out the Jim Sterling part if you want.
Just
because
please do. No. You can level a little ire at him. We love him.
not ire. He just got to tap this before I got to it. I've been, after deciding on our theme for this week, I've been looking up something that's really bothered me a lot in the past, which is piecemealing games. And the season passes selling you anonymity is a part of that. Another part of that that's becoming more and more popular is episodic games. And while the episodic game works very well for certain game styles, it's not for every game style. It's them trying to make more money because the finished product is going to cost you more than the end product, and they can sell you the end product at a quote-unquote discount, which will actually come up to about $60 anyway, for a product they haven't even begun working on yet, which is complete and utter nonsense. There's no other industry in the world where people have so much faith in the company providing the product. You know, you would not buy a car because it says Nissan, knowing nothing else about it, just because you like Nissan. What? That's not how that works. And you take that with something that we've harped on a little bit in the past, and that's day one DLC, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but hasn't that kind of faded away a little bit, or am I just not paying attention?
I have no idea.
No, it hasn't faded at all. It's just that particularly savvy companies that have put out many of the major releases between November 2015 and now just didn't have that ready. Fallout, Bethesda was smarter than that. And I think maybe Black Ops 3 did have day one DLC. I'm pretty sure the store was available day one. It's just nobody raised a fit because it's not very popular on PC. So, and when something is when people want to raise a fit about some game making chicanery, it's almost always on PC. On console, they just kind of accept what's given them. And Black Ops 3 didn't sell well on PC. It sold very well on consoles. In fact, it was the best-selling game of 2015. But it only sold like 800,000 copies on Steam. So there is, I guess the way it works is PC gamers are more engaged with the social outcry aspect of the internet than console gamers are.
Okay. Well, at any rate, I hate Day 1 DLC more than microtransactions. Day 1 DLC is the most vile, egregious, disgusting scam that video game makers have ever come up with.
It is absolute, unrefutable evidence that you chopped shit out of your game to sell to me twice.
Exactly.
Damn, that's just hilarious.
The fact that they make it seem like a good thing
because
is mind-boggling.
It's absolutely terrible.
But people buy it.
Well, that's why they sell it. That's why they offer it, because people buy it.
So if people buy it, I mean, what are you gonna do?
I'm going to keep going with the car analogy for a little bit because it's all that's popping into my head right now. But it's like buying a car and then them going, oh, for an extra $100, we'll give you doorknobs. What? You can have door handles for your car. Well, what the fuck was the plan without them?
I mean, that's fair.
No.
Every
car comes with a lockpick.
It absolutely boils my blood to see Day 1 DLC. Like Clay said, there is no greater evidence that you literally chopped up your game. Other ways are at least more clever and at least make me think, at least for a second. Day 1 DLC is literally shoving it right in your face and pretending it's a good thing.
It is. There's people who do it wisely. Not necessarily Day 1 DLC, but do DLC wisely. Like CD Projekt Red. They sold
Did you
their
get all
game.
CD Projekt Red's nuts?
No,
Jeez.
no. I don't even like their games, but they do good business. They announced just before The Witcher 3 was going to come out that much of the DLC was going to be free, and people loved that. And they sold their game. They gave away like 3 small expansions and then said, here's a $30 DLC. And nobody batted an eye.
No, because if you get one thing for free from a game developer, dude, it's like, I can't believe this. So if you get something free and then they're like, well, I really like that free joint. They're like, well, we got this new $30 joint that's twice the size. But if they love it and you're selling them or giving them something free and then you drop something new and say it's $30, but it's twice the size of the free one. He's like, oh, I got to have that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's mine. I got that.
It's good business.
Oh, it's brilliant business. It's very intelligent to do that. And, I'm sure Fallout sold plenty of season passes with their game when it dropped. Now, I haven't seen any DLC from them, but you bank that on your old experiences that you'll get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but no, I mean, they're not giving you anything for free. Bethesda's not giving you anything for free, period. You're not getting shit for free. But you're willing to take that chance with Bethesda based on previous games' DLC. Even Dishonored's DLC was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, and it's their reputation with their fans. Like, there's a reason why Fallout 4 was beat out by the fucking Black Ops 3. It's because Fallout, for as popular as it is still a niche game. It's a huge niche, but it's still niche. So they've established a reputation with their fans, the both of you included, that if we say we're going to give you quality DLC, all right, I can accept that. That's good.
Yes. But that's like you said, though, that's an awful lot of trust that I'm not giving an awful lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but a lot of gamers are a lot less discerning with their money than we are.
That's fair.
You know?
That's fair.
I make good money, but I don't want to spend $150 on one video game. I'm good. Pass.
No, and all of us have our fair share. Amongst the three of us, we have our fair share of disposable income. But when it comes down to it, I don't trust you. Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to. I don't trust you, game
I
makers.
suppose I'm going to be hypocritical here because I did used to spend a lot of money on MMOs, monthly subscription fees, but that's a totally different endeavor in that whole marketing scheme is changing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Two other things I suppose I'd like to get to before we moved on to Mark's points is a couple of other ways, according to this cracked article by Luke McKinney, that video games makers take away your money, or they take your money. Sorry. One of the ways is undoing your money.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm very intrigued.
Well, there's several examples of that. His example is when Rock Band undid their servers. So the game you bought and spent money on and downloaded extra tracks for, you can no longer play.
You can't even play it offline?
Which is not, I assume this is, I'm not familiar with Rock Band. So I'm not 100% on that. I would assume you could, but I don't know. But another one is like The Sims Social and Pet Society and all those other nonsense games on Facebook. I shouldn't call them nonsense. I don't enjoy them, but my wife does sometimes. But they'll undo your money all the time by selling you things that are one-time use, or, you buy gems, you buy their in-game currency, and then you can spend it on like something that's harvestable. So you then spent it to get it and then harvest it, and now you don't have it anymore. My prime example of this is in World of Warcraft, because of all the things they did right, which they stole from EverQuest. They did this wrong, is every time they put out a new expansion, all of your loot and gear from the old expansion is garbage. Completely replaced in the first 20 minutes of playing the new expansion.
Wow.
When their first expansion came out, I had spent a year and a half raiding all the way up through Naxxramas, which means nothing to you two, but some of the listeners will get it. Not Naxxramas, listen to me. Jesus Christ. No, Naxxramas. I'm right.
He knows his WoW.
I'm right. Anyway, to finally get the best gear in the game that I could, and I had pretty much a complete set. And then the expansion came out, and I went to the midnight release because I had the next day off, and I worked night shift anyway. So, downloaded Burning Crusade, put it in, whatever you want to say, and then within the first 10 minutes of playing the first quests in Burning Crusade, I had better gear than I had spent a year and a half obtaining. Making the cost of the game and all those monthly subscription fees worthless. I basically didn't even play the game.
So what you're saying is that a person who adopted right at the Burning Crusade was at your level.
Yeah, basically. They had to, I mean, obviously they had to level up to maximum level to get there or whatever, but WoW just made that easier and easier as you went anyway. I don't want to bang too hard on WoW. I spent a lot of years in WoW. Most everything they did right, they copied from EverQuest anyway. But it was a good game.
Okay.
EverQuest is still going, right?
Yes, 17 years later.
Yeah.
So
I was just reading an article about it last week. Like, I remember Nate played that. What was that? That was like high school or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't imagine you guys have too much to say on that particular point.
Hell no.
No, I can't stand the grind, and that's what an MMO is.
I don't need a second job. I got one.
And I don't knock on people who love the grind. I mean, I do, but I don't, because to each their own. What a game is to you definitely is not a game to me. Like Mark said, it feels like a job, but I don't want to detract from your enjoyment of it. Yeah, that's all I got.
That's the next point that Mr. McKinney pulls out, is turning games into chores, which is another way of saying turning games into the grind. Now, the prime examples of this are the games that take time, and then you spend real-life money to speed things up.
Yeah.
So now it feels like you flat out cannot enjoy the game unless you spend money. And I get that you're a free-to-play game 90% of the time this is happening, except in the case of Dead Space 3. Suck it, whoever made that game. I can't remember.
Electronic Arts.
Yeah, suck it, EA. Assholes. Anyway, you have to come up with a better plan on how to make me spend money in your game. Your game has to be enjoyable before I spend money, not spend money to be enjoyable.
Yeah, if you cripple the experience in the first place so that people will be forced through this mind fuck to pay money to make it enjoyable, that's a bad, bad plan.
Yep. I got one more thing to harp on. Sorry. The last thing I'll harp on is game makers re-releasing old games for just to make money on nostalgia, which is fine, but then they just make those games shit. They're just shells, and that annoys the shit out of me.
Like what?
Like Dungeon Keeper? I'm sure you've heard Mr. Sterling rant about Dungeon Keeper in the past. Dungeon Keeper was a great game. The original, the mobile game, is a piece of garbage.
Oh yeah, and it's like you gotta like spend 2 days to dig out 4 blocks unless you pay in gems to accelerate the process. Yeah.
A prime example of that.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting. All right, listeners, after the break, Mark Jr. will give us his perspective, the small perspective, on video game monetization. Welcome back, listeners. Like I said before, Mark has the small perspective on monetization in video games. Tell us about it, Mark.
All right, well, I'll tell you all about microtransactions. But first, we'll start with an article by Paul Tassi on Forbes/tech, the 10 Commandments of Microtransaction. I've read over it quite a few times here, but I'm looking at it. The only one that really truly catches my eye, which I've screamed about before, is the fact to pay to win. And it just drives me absolutely crazy that I've played this game for 3 months on this stupid ass phone, and I'm playing some kid who's half my level, and he bought like the super gear, and he just wrecks the shit out of me and makes me not want to play your game. It just drives me absolutely batshit crazy that that's how you set your game up. You know what I'm saying? There should be a way for you to earn in-game currency, so that way you don't have to spend $20 on your 100 rupees. You know, why can't I earn rupees through the game? Yeah, the whole design of that is very flawed to me. And I love number 5. Thou shalt focus mostly on cosmetic upgrades. That makes me feel better. You know, not giving him the super sword, but let him get a cool wig and dumbass bozo hat.
Well, see, I don't have a problem with that commandment as he describes it. What I do have a problem with is, well, it's like Sebastian told me once. He sometimes, you know, special occasions, birthdays, what have you, we'll buy him League of Legends cards, RP cards. He likes them. Shut up.
It's still dumb if he likes them.
And I asked him, you know, the last time I bought him some, Christmas, I asked him, you know, what'd you spend your RP on? Did you get some cool new champions or whatever? And he said, no, Dad, you don't spend real money on champions. You spend it on skins. I was like, what? What? You literally do not spend your real money to advance your gameplay, but to make it look better? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay, all right. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. I don't care what the character looks like. Why that is the best reason to spend real world money, it's absolutely lost on me. But it's better, like Mark says, than pay to win elements.
Now, every game maker, every single one of you that plans on using microtransactions, every one of you, go play Team Fortress. Team Fortress 2 does it probably better than anybody else. A good example is you get different weapons. It doesn't have to be merely cosmetic. One example is you can get a butcher's knife for the scout instead of the baseball bat. It does less damage, but it has a bleed effect. So it's not better. It's just personal preference. So if I want to spend money on that because I like a bleed effect more than I like raw damage, then I can spend money on that. It's different. It's not just cosmetic, and it doesn't compromise gameplay.
Yeah, they also sell a shit ton of hats.
Oh, no. The cosmetic is fine. I'm with you. I don't understand the cosmetic, and I don't know that I've ever purchased anything that's purely cosmetic in a video game, at least not for real money. But you don't have to focus entirely on the cosmetic, is what I'm saying.
I understand your point. All right. Give us some more, Mark.
All right. Well, the pros and cons of microtransactions in a major release. This article is on GameZone and it's by Jake Valentine. His pro is the first pro is free additional content after launch. Now, I'm like Nate here and I'm just not in the loop. I don't play a game where I get free additional content after launch.
Yes, you do.
What is that?
The Witcher 3.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Maybe
Dragon Age
you
Inquisition
just
did a
never
little bit too, I
noticed.
believe.
I mean, honestly, I probably didn't notice. Now, I haven't played The Witcher 3 since Fallout came out, and I haven't played Dragon Age Inquisition since The Witcher came out. You know, I just move game to game. But the con is it will give people, again, that pay the advantage, which just drives me crazy. And I spent hours researching through Googles and Yahoos and all these lovely things, looking for the plus side of microtransactions. And I guess the whole world's just like me, a bunch of cynical assholes. It is so difficult to find somebody that just has nice things to say about microtransactions in games. Everybody gives you 5 pro or 5 cons, and then right at the very bottom, well, it's all right because it can support a free to play game. Well, that's not really a pro. That's just how they design their game to make money.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
well, think about it. I mean, when was the last time you spent real money on a mobile game?
Never.
Exactly. People
Never. You're not getting
people
any
aren't
money from me on
willing
that shit.
to pay money. Often aren't willing to pay money for games. They don't value gaming that highly. So you got to get it some other way.
Well,
Yeah,
now
a
hold
lot of
on.
people do.
Well, and yes, tons and tons of people do. That's why Candy Crush is worth $1 billion or whatever it's
Candy
worth.
Crush is free. Why do you think it's
No,
worth
but-
$1 billion?
But because you buy
'Cause they
lives
bought
or
it.
whatever.
Microtransactions.
Who
Yes,
bought it?
microtransactions made them super filthy rich by dropping candy canes and jelly beans. So good for them. I don't.
Well, one of the most despicable forms of microtransactions, since we're going to bang on microtransactions, and rightfully so, is rental in microtransactions.
Oh my god, dude! I'll murder
where
everybody.
you don't get the thing, but you get the thing for 3 days.
Yes, it drives me crazy.
So I am giving you my hard-earned cash to pretend to have something for a couple days.
Yeah.
What?
That sounds totally viable.
Victims of this are a lot of RPGs where they'll like sell you a horse rental, so you have a horse for a week, and you're like, "What? What just
Let me
happened?"
just buy the horse.
Right, but then the horse is like 4 times as much,
Yes, oh I know.
so it makes it seem like the rental is a good value when really they're both awful values, and you should just give me a way to earn the horse in the game.
Agree. I couldn't agree more.
And then
I could not agree more.
maybe I'll go like, "Oh, that's cool," and then I'll buy a faster horse later because you let me get a taste of what a horse can do.
Yeah.
Harped on horses there for a second.
No,
Right,
no,
you
that-
did.
but
I went all like
that's actually
preteen girl.
not a bad idea to give you the basic version of valuable items or trinkets or things like that to lure you into buying advanced versions of them. It's not bad. Nate, start making games.
Right. So I'll draw stick figures and we'll take it from there.
Right, right.
I mean, Stickman shooter and stuff. I play that on the
Oh,
phone.
while the wife is studying
annoying.
coding, we'll have her do the coding.
Bam. But to go back to, did I ever pay for a mobile game? I bought the Final Fantasy on my phone,
Which one?
which I can't remember what it was called. I done erased it. But,
It wasn't that good, was it?
no, I beat it. No, I went all the way through it. I can't remember what it was now, but I enjoyed it, and I paid I think $14.99 for it.
Oh, wow.
Fuck that.
Yeah, and it was an old school. The way they did it was the old school style of Final Fantasy, and I just loved it.
Cool.
Final Fantasy Dimensions. That's what it's called right there. It says purchased. So I really did enjoy that game. So I have spent money on that. I just refuse to spend it on getting another life.
I would say that's not a microtransaction. You're actually paying.
Yeah, no, I'm actually
someone
purchasing
for a
the
game.
game.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't mind.
But don't you want
paying-
more donuts in the Simpsons game?
No, I erased that because of that. And I erased Family Guy because of the clams. So, because you're not going to force that shit down my throat and not let me get the best shit because you want goddamn. And the donuts and the clams are expensive. It's like, get 500 for $50. And you're like, fuck you. that shit ain't happening,
That
dude.
game was just a carbon copy of every other game of the same type.
Yeah, exactly.
That's,
and that's
my
why
biggest
I'm like,
problem with mobile gaming.
well, they're almost all carbon copies of them. I play tower defense games more than any of the other ones. So I just enjoy that. But it's the same exact shit. They just give you different stuff. But I'm still not paying you $1 to continue because I died.
No.
So I'll just wait and then start over. But you're like, you gotta wait 20 minutes for your life, and I'm like, all right, I'll go play something else.
Well, the plus side of microtransactions, Mark, is right here in this Ars Technica article you linked by Kyle Orland. It says right here, voting with their wallets. That's the plus
Yes.
side, is
Yes.
that it's letting consumers choose what they want more. Now, granted, 99% of the games out there, that's a bold statement, but I'm staying by it. 99% of the games out there are just garbage designed to make money, not to let you have fun while making money.
We'll give you money for a game and decent shit, but we're not giving you money for lives because you're a bunch of assholes.
Basically, I mean, that's what microtransactions comes down to. I've bought things in games before, always free to play. I've never paid for a microtransaction in a game I already paid for, because that's fucking rubbish. To get a little English on you, apparently. I don't know why that popped into my brain, but it did. So anyway, I played Star Wars The Old Republic for a while, and I bought a couple of things in that because I felt that the game was good enough to be worth a couple of bucks here and there. Dirty Bomb, as we've discussed, but never to make me enjoy the game. I have to enjoy the game before I spend money, at least as far as microtransactions are concerned.
That's fair, but have you ever bought a life?
Have I ever bought a life?
Yes.
I own several Mario games.
No, that's different. I'm talking about like, did you play the new Angry Birds one, the Angry Birds 2 or whatever, and then you get 5 lives and you run out, but you can buy some lives.
Yeah, you're talking about Betsy plays those kind of games. She doesn't buy them, though. Most of them offer them free lives on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, but I refuse to link that shit to any of my social media
Right.
shit.
All of my 10 friends wouldn't send them to me anyway, so...
Right.
Bunch
Well,
of
I get
jerks.
very offended and unfriend people for sending that shit to me.
You know you can ignore them, right? It's very
Yes,
simple to
I
Okay.
do, and then they get whiny, so then I unfriend them. It's just
Obviously, their friendship isn't very valuable to
it's
begin
not,
with.
it's not a friendship. It's a dude I knew in high school, fucking 18 years ago. I ain't never even seen you.
I was
so-
going to correct you, Mark, but yeah, you're right. 18 years ago. Wow.
No, old, G, old.
Oh,
That's old.
that just happened.
Old. It happens. It was a very long time ago, and I haven't seen him. And then I got a friend request, so I'm like, oh, I remember that name.
Not
You
to
don't
mention,
even look familiar.
who's the same person they were in high school?
Nobody.
Bad
Well, I
for
hope
you.
nobody. Rob.
Yeah.
Rob.
Rob.
Yeah. But not many people are the same person they were in high school. At
Oh.
least not as long as we've been out.
We are so far off topic. So far. Would anyone like to discuss camels and their breeding?
Nope.
I don't know much about their breeding. Do they? I mean, they're mammals, so did they have a season or?
I don't know. I know all about duck penises if you want to learn about that.
I
They're
don't know
corkscrewed.
anything about duck penises either. I'm good on that.
They're corkscrewed and they shoot out really fast. And almost all duck sex is duck rape. And the females even have like dead ends in their vaginas.
That's creepy, dude.
You should Google it sometimes. It's very fascinating.
We're under the explicit, right?
Yep, sure are.
Okay, good.
I'm pretty sure Clay will cut all that out anyway.
All right, good.
Yeah, who knows? I might leave it in. Nobody can tell you.
And we will finish my rant. But now this is not on microtransactions. This is on Nate's earlier thing. The article on Ars Technica of the death of the model, or the death of the gaming monthly subscription model. And thank goodness it's about time. I don't understand. I remember our eldest brother paying to play, what was that game on the Xbox 360?
Phantasy
Sega
Star
made it.
Universe.
And he played it forever. Phantasy Star Universe. And he would sit there for so long. And what was it, $10 a month? I think it was $10 a month. and just grind away playing Phantasy Star Universe. Now, if that's a perfect game for microtransactions, that's a perfect game for microtransactions. I don't see why anybody would ever pay $1 to sit there and play that game. Did you play it, Nate?
No, Fantasy Star Universe was awful. They had an awful system. But I can't speak negatively to that effect because I played EverQuest for 6 years and I played WoW for 4 and countless other games in between that all had
So
monthly
no monthly all monthly subscriptions. And I have never paid for one.
Generally, when it
Although,
comes,
to be fair, since like 2004 or 2005, I've been paying Xbox for forever. So
generally when it
Yeah,
comes,
well, that is your monthly subscription, yeah.
yes,
generally when it comes to MMORPGs, the quality of game between subscription-based and non-subscription-based, free-to-play basically, the drop-off in quality is astronomical.
Yeah, there's a huge gap.
The pay monthly subscription games for MMORPGs, which I'm not into as of late, I guess it comes with getting older. I don't have as much time for a second job. But the drop-off is real and pretty much instantly noticeable in everything from graphics to engine to play style, everything you can just notice within 10 minutes of playing the game.
Yeah, even boils down as low as the quality of the quests. You can tell a slapdash MMO from the number of there's 2 kinds of quests: kill everything, fetch these things.
okay. So what y'all are telling me is you guys are okay with the monthly subscription model.
Yeah.
I'm okay that you're okay with it. I'm just saying, for me, and now that y'all have so wonderfully dawned on me that I've been paying $5 a month since goddamn 2004 or 2005, I'm a little offended, but I hate that shit. I don't think you should. I already bought your game. I buy your expansions. I buy all these things, but yet you want me to pay you $15 to access something I already paid for.
Yeah, I've ranted about this in personal conversations more than once. Yeah, see, the thing is, I don't have a problem with it for those who are willing to spend it. If WoW is such an integral part of your gaming time that you are willing to pay $15 a month for it, then for you, it's worth $15 a month. That's fine. But for the rest of us, I bought your game and I want to play it. And if I have to pay just to access your game, I'm not going to buy your game in the first place. It's not going to happen. I once did the math on, if somebody wanted to start playing WoW. It was a comparison to Destiny that people were upset that Destiny, how much they were charging for their latest expansion or something like that. And I think Destiny was almost exactly a year old at the time. So they had a $60 game and they had I think $60 or $70 worth of expansions. And so people were super upset that they could spend upwards of $130 or $150 on Destiny just to get the full experience. And I made comparisons to World of Warcraft, where you could spend $15 a month plus buying the base game and all of the expansions. And I think it added up to $340 to start and play for a year. But that's perfectly okay for a game like WoW, but not okay for a virtually, in its essence, identical game like Bungie's first-person shooter RPG, MMORP, something or other. Right. Gaming acronyms have fucking lost me.
There's 2 schools of thought here. The first is that when I played WoW or EverQuest, I played virtually nothing else. So I looked at it as saving money because I wasn't buying every game that came out around the corner. Literally, when I got home from work or school, depending on what year it was, or both, I played EverQuest. I played WoW. That's it.
Nate, I never looked at it like that. If you stop and think of what you spend, at least me, on gaming in 1 year, and I'm just talking about purchasing games, not accessories and all miscellaneous, I'd probably spend easy three, four, $500.
Yeah, that's the way I justified it to myself.
No, it's still, if you were literally not spending any other money and you're paying $15 a month plus $60 once a year for an expansion,
I mean,
you're saving money over me.
you guys don't remember, but when I was playing Call of Duty with you guys, I had no MMO. That was the difference, was there was nothing else for me to play. And honestly, this is going to kind of sound like I'm banging on MMORPGs a little bit, but I lost friends over that shit. And not that it really matters, honestly, because I don't really speak to many people I used to know. And not on purpose. It was just like, it was a driving force in my life, which is the mark of a good MMO. But it also, as a much older man now who can look back on it, there's a lot of time spent. I won't say wasted, because I enjoyed it, and I made a lot of friends that I still speak to on occasion on the phone and everything in the games.
Married.
I met my wife. We went over that on an MMO. So I won't say it was a waste of time, but definitely looking back, it was definitely a complete lifestyle. The MMORPG is a lifestyle, would be a good way to put it.
Yeah, I've seen it from you, from Rob, from other acquaintances that when you're deep in an MMO, it basically demands all the waking hours that you don't use to make the money to pay for your life and the MMO. I think that's what always killed me about it. It's like
Crack.
Well, no, the thing is, once you get into it and you establish a social sphere in the MMO, you have to keep up with everybody else in your sphere. So if you take a day or, God forbid, a week off, you're going to be behind everybody else. So it demands your time. And that's not a bad thing if you're enjoying the time you spend with it.
Yeah, the second point,
Crack.
yes, they used to call it Evercrack, Mark.
Oh, bam! All right, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Like, even when my wife hurt herself, this was before we met. She got carpal tunnel surgery. She still logged on to EverQuest and charged for buffs, and would just literally buff people as they walked through the zone, and they would give her a tip because she couldn't do much else. But that's the driving force that is an MMO. Now,
Crazy.
You mentioned Destiny, Clay. That's the difference, is PC gamer versus console gamer. Console gamers don't have the concept of an MMO. They just don't. Phantasy Star was one. Destiny was kind of one. I'm sure there's been others, but none of them will see the success of the WoWs and the EverQuests of the world. They just won't.
Now, it's a different environment, both technically and socially, gaming on console.
Oh, and I won't say that that's a bad thing, guys. It just is what it is.
Yeah, it's all right. It's totally cool. Welcome back, listeners and viewers. After all the perspective we've gained on monetization in video games, I thought we'd end this episode with the question of who. Like, you can read and listen to so many complaints about DLC, in-game transactions, microtransactions on the internet all day long. There is a lifetime of reading on this subject. Yet, game makers keep doing it. And why is that? Because it works. They have people to sell to. And one of the most profitable groups is very cynically called whales. Now, whales in the gaming industry were first identified and classified in the East, in Japan and Korea and other places, and soon came to the West. These are people who, as my findings go, and I have, if you want to find them, references from VentureBeat's Stephanie Carmichael, Recode's Eric Johnson, Kotaku's Owen Good, and Forbes' Eric Kane. Those are the articles, the people I'm going to reference for what I'm about to say. Whales are often a tiny minority of players who spend the vast majority of money on their gaming habits. According to many statisticians, it is as little as 0.15% up to only 2% of gamers provide up to 40% of a game's revenue because they are willing to spend. In some cases, whales are classified as those who will spend $100 or more on a game. And in other cases, whales are only classified once they start spending $1,000 a month or more on their video game habits. These are people who have no problem investing their livelihood in their gaming. And in fact, there have been occasions, especially in the East, where game makers, and they go unnamed, the game and the makers go unnamed in this VentureBeat article, but they claim that they had a single player who spent more than $6,700 a month on average on their game, their unnamed game. And they literally, after this player was established, started catering, designing their game and their communications within the game to most satisfy this single gamer.
Why the fuck not? Dude, if somebody's giving me $6,700 a month, what do you want, bro?
I'm reading it, and it's just wild as can be. I can't imagine spending $1,000 a month on anything other than like my mortgage. I know it's 2% of players, but what the fuck do you do for a living? Hook me up. Damn. I don't have $1,000 a month of discretionary income, let alone discretionary income for a mobile game.
A singular mobile game.
You're crazy. That's just madness,
Well, I mean,
dude.
we shouldn't badmouth mobile games. Everybody's a mobile gamer.
Yes, I do it constantly.
But yeah, that's an astronomically high number as far as I'm concerned. To spend that much monthly, $6,700 on anything, unless you own a business and rent a warehouse, is unfathomable to me.
Well, I think that's because we're ordinary people, and whoever is doing that is not ordinary.
Right, but how do you justify that? I don't care how much money you make. That is a lot of money to spend in one game. It cycles back to the microtransactions. It's probably one of those games where you have to pay for energy or pay to make things grow quicker or something along those lines.
Lame. Crazy.
I mean, needless to say, I hope that guy's the best ever at that game.
Yeah, well, the fracturing gets worse as you look deeper into the statistics. On this Recode article, they have, the 1.5% producing 40% of the revenue, and the top 10% producing 50% of the revenue, and everyone else, that is the bottom 90 percentile, is just infinitesimal. It means nothing. They are contributors, but they mean nothing compared to the top 10 percentile.
Well, isn't that life?
There is a sect, a type of person in this world that has no problem giving over whatever a game wants. They account for so much that it doesn't matter that the vast majority despise the tactics they're using, because the tactics they're using are simply to satisfy the minority.
It only takes one to ruin it for everybody, right? Isn't that the old saying?
Yeah,
So,
I guess so.
there you go. You're a bastard, dickhead. Stop spending $6,700 a month, dick.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I got that wrong. That wasn't in VentureBeat. That was a bit of anecdotal evidence in the Recode article. I think, let's see. It's the second paragraph after their graphic, where a Japanese game, let me just do this, quote, a Japanese game company with one player who spent $10,000 per month on in-app purchases, end quote, they hired or assigned an employee simply to cater to that whale, to ensure that she was always satisfied with the game.
I mean, I'm with Nate on that though. Good for you. I would too.
Yeah, whatever you want.
I mean, that whoever you assign to her is making nowhere near $10,000 a month, G. So you go ahead and you take that shit and you fix that shit for her. Go for it.
Yeah,
I would
right.
too.
Now, for all the listeners out there thinking, who the fuck are these people? Like, seriously, outside of the idea that gaming companies are catering to individuals who spend $6,000 to $10,000 a month or whatever, who are these top 10 percentile that literally fund all of these games and their tactics? Well, according to Kotaku's Owen Good, they're your best buddies. They are, in fact, young men who are often console gamers. According to this article, 65%... hold on. Let me make sure I got my numbers right. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. According to this, quote, women were less likely to pay money for mobile games and accounted for 65% of the non-paying segment. So that means the vast majority of people who are willing to fork over cash are your best Call of Duty buddies. They are to blame for the most part. They are the majority of people who will suffer the horrible psychological tactics like slow gameplay without pay.
Well, they're a bunch of dicks. And you wait till I talk to them again, they're going to get it.
Yeah. So if the audience was thinking, oh, it's a bunch of soccer moms and teens who don't have anything to do with their time and have too much disposable income, no, it's your buddies. They're spending their money on mobile games and encouraging these terrible tactics. I was very surprised to read that it's the, what is it? It must be the mid-range. They don't specify, so I'm going to speculate that it's the 18 to 34 male demographic that they're talking about.
Well, didn't it just say right here that the top 5% of spenders are the whales, as they're called? 66% of them are males, and their average age is 30.
Yeah, there you are.
That's you, Nate.
I mean, that's you too.
No, shut up. It's
I'm
not.
32 now, so I'm old. I'm not surprised by that. I mean, it's kind of, we think that certain people have more time on their hands than others, or more discretionary income than others, but this doesn't surprise me. I mean, I'm a grown man. I have a wife. I have a mortgage. I have less discretionary income than someone else who is also a grown man who rents a room. And if they're comfortable spending that money that way, shit, I mean, I couldn't justify it. My wife would beat me.
Would you be a battered husband?
I would. If my wife looked at my credit card bill and saw that I charged $6,700 in a year, in 10 years,
get murdered.
To any
I get murdered. Yeah.
mobile gaming platform, yeah, I'd be in the hospital. So
yeah, well, see, I can't do it in the first place. I can't look at a game, mobile or otherwise, and think, okay, $1.99. Yeah, you know what? I probably need an extra life to get through this next level. And then come that next level, I need another life. I'm not the type of person who thinks, you know what, I better buy 3 or 4 lives. I'm the type of person who hits uninstall.
Well,
me too.
Here's the problem, as I see it. I see mobile games as merely time wasters, like you talked about Fallout. They're just something to do in the interim because I can't stand being bored because I'm American.
Right?
That's
Now,
fair.
the problem, in my opinion, again, with that business model is the same problem they have. All of your games are the same. So while I'm waiting for my lives to regenerate, I'll just download one of the 90,000 other clones of the same game and start on that.
Yes.
And then bounce back and forth between 3 or 4 of them if I really want to play that style of game. However, clearly there are people who take mobile gaming way more seriously than I do.
You know, you make a good point about the competition. There's a lot of competition in the game development market, which will lead us nicely into my final point.
Can anyone explain the difference to me between Candy Crush and Bejeweled and any of the other 90 million Match 3 games? Why did Candy Crush win that war?
I have no idea.
All right, I have something to admit.
Ooh,
I've never played Candy Crush.
and neither have I.
Yeah, me neither. My wife has.
Betsy played Candy Crush. I have never played Candy Crush. I've played Match 3 games. I played Gems of War. It's a great game, by the way. It's very much like Puzzle Quest, if any of you guys played that. It's a Match 3 game, but you have like character cards and they do special attacks when they get enough of the gems matched together and stuff. So it's cool. It's way better than Candy Crush.
Okay.
Also,
all
you said
right.
you have something to admit, like you just were about to admit you spent $100 on Candy Crush or something.
I know. I was about to jump all in your shit.
I was like primed to pounce.
Yes.
Oh.
Like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
No. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to disappoint.
I mean, you made it sound. I was about to be like, cue the Law and Order sound effect. Dun, dun, dun.
I agree.
Well, here's the thing about competition in video games. Video gaming, as nobody seems to know it, is cheaper today than it has ever been. Completely discounting the idea of Steam sales and good old game sales, Green Man Gaming, completely discrediting discounts. Nintendo Entertainment System cartridges were $50 in 1990. Nintendo 64 cartridges were $70 in 1998. And by any metric of inflation, a video game should cost 100 USD today. And they don't. In fact, they have gone down in price and up in cost. So, if anybody wonders why every game maker, whether it's the smallest mobile developer up to the giantest Electronic Arts of the world, if anybody wonders why they're trying to make more money on their games, there's a very good reason. To be perfectly honest, games should cost more.
Did you just say
The
honest?
biggest of them. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of nasally.
To be honest.
Yeah. This article from Forbes, Mr. Eric Kane, he also makes a very good point in that in 1994, a box or 20 ounces of Oreo cookies cost $2.49. 2 years ago, 14 ounces of Oreos cost $4.49. So it's more than double the cost by weight. Yet video games, unlike everything else on the planet, have actually gotten cheaper. And I think I have too, because I am super cheap. You gotta have one hell of a marketing scheme to get me to pay $60 for a video game.
Mark,
I'm the same
do
way.
you want to call bullshit on this article or should I?
Well, go ahead.
Okay, bullshit. Games should not be more expensive. It's a fucking unsustainable model that they've built for themselves. We've touched on this in the past. Nobody told them that they have to make a $400 million video game. This is a product that they're saying that we should, we should be paying more. No, they should be paying less. Yes, the cost of a laborer to work on your game has gone up. The cost of your distribution, it should be literally non-existent at this point.
And Clay, on your hold on, I'm sorry
Go
to
ahead, you're
interrupt,
good.
Nate, but it just dawned on me. Why are profits at all-time highs then?
Because they're selling more.
Well, then don't feed me that I need to give you more money. It's like the gas company raising shit to $4 a gallon. When my hood, it's $1.39. Okay, so there was no reason for it to go to $4 a gallon. You're just a bunch of dicks that want more money. Back the fuck up and spend less money making your game.
Well,
Go ahead, Nate.
see,
Sorry.
selling greater volume does in turn justify a cheaper product. This is why Walmart sells everything cheaper than, your local retail. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And they should be, as Nate would tell you, they should be budgeting according to what they can get out of that $60 price tag. But there's no arguing that an individual game is cheaper than it's ever been.
I mean, kind of, technically, yes, but it's also a different market than anyone's ever seen. He wants to use the example of Oreos. Okay, how many different kinds of Oreos can I get? Not from the makers of Oreo, but Oreo and its knockoffs. 3, 1, and then Hydrox, and then every single, wherever you're at, local store brand. That's it. I can buy 90 million video games.
You're gonna have to extrapolate.
Okay, well, what you're looking at here is choice. Like, we'll use this Oreo cookies example. Okay, I don't know where he got his prices from, by the way, because I've never paid $4.50 for a carton of Oreos.
Hell no.
But
me neither.
I have many different choices in what cookie I want. I can get chocolate chip, I can get white macadamia nut, I can get Oreos, peanut butter, whatever. Sugar cookies, oatmeal, it's cool. But if I want Oreos or an Oreo supplement, I have one of 3 options. I have Oreo, I have Hydrox, fun fact, came before Oreo, and whatever my local store brand is. We all know what that is.
Yes, yeah, whatever it is, your area.
When it comes to video games, I have a myriad of choice, and therefore you have a myriad of competitors, including other products you put out. Oreo's not competing with itself in the way that a game developer is competing with itself. So never mind all of the indie titles I can buy. Never mind the other publishers' AAA published games I can buy. If you just look at EA's games, I have a myriad of wealth to choose from in just their library. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. But I don't...
Let me piggyback on Mark. It's... The video game market is price fixed, much like the gas market. Do you guys remember Mom telling us that one of her first jobs when she worked at the convenience store was to look at every other gas station in the area and then adjust her gas prices accordingly?
I did that when I worked at a gas station 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's price fixing. And with them recording... What did I say? Okay, if you're buying the knockoff brand of Oreo cookies, you're theoretically not getting as good of a product, but you're paying less. That's not an option in gaming. If you want a high-quality AAA published game, you are paying $60 period dot the end.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that they should cost more if there's no change in price based on value of game.
Okay, then I accept that. And the ease of distribution and the volume of sales offset the lack of price to inflation ratio. But hear me on the next thing. Why is there not a sliding scale? Why is it that every AAA publisher charges $60 for every AAA release? You've got lots of small market games, whether it's from 3 men in a basement or 25 guys at a mid-stage studio, who will all determine on their own whether their game should cost $1 or $40. Yet when it comes to the AAA market, it's $60 or bust. Why can there not be a $40 AAA game? Why can there not be a $100 AAA game? Why could not Fallout 4 simply come out and say, you know what, everybody gets a fucking Pip-Boy. This game costs $100.
Well, I think at a certain point, people would hit their price point break. And honestly, if you turn around tomorrow and made all games $70, I'm still buying them. Other people are still buying them.
I'm still buying them.
Well, it happened with the Nintendo 64.
Right. But the higher you
It was instantaneous.
the higher you go, the more you're undercutting yourself. Because if you've put out 4 titles this year and all 4 of them look cool, I'm only buying one if they're $100 a piece. And that's just a fact.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So you're going to drive yourself out.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't get it. Like, okay, if the $50 copy of Super Mario Brothers 3 Mom bought us in 1990 or whenever that was acceptable at $50, equivalent to $100 today, why is it not acceptable to charge $100 for a game you spent $200 million to develop? I don't. Now, don't get me wrong.
Goddamn capitalists.
I am not paying a single fucking company $100 for a video game. It won't happen. But why is it unacceptable?
Well, at the moment, like I said, it's price fixing. If you put out your hot new shit at $100 and somebody else puts their hot new shit out at $60, guess which one's going to sell more copies? By a landslide.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. But why has not the video game conglomerate, the AAA horde, not worked to increase the price of their games? I mean, they have worked in subversive ways through DLC and microtransactions, with which people despise. I bet you $1 people would not have so many bitches if games slowly went up in price from 60 to 65, 70, 80, 85, 90 over the last 10 years. If everybody agreed that their games simply needed to cost more, they would not bitch so much as they bitch now about the DLC and microtransaction transgressions.
Mark, you want to get in on this? Clay and I have been having a lot of back and forth. You should jump in.
Yeah, but I really don't care. Because
But
because
answer
it's
my
the damn
question.
But it's damn capitalist system, and well, I mean, I don't honestly know why they haven't tried to raise the prices. But like Nate says, everybody's got a breaking point when you come to a game. You know what I'm saying? If that one comes out at 100, this one comes out at 60, and you were wavering, obviously you're going to go with a $60 one. Now, if the game that you wanted is $100, Nate, everybody, you can't lie. You gonna buy that bitch.
Yeah, but I'm buy that.
You're gonna get
I'm
it.
gonna buy less
Now,
of that
but
bitch,
you're only
though.
yes, but you're only gonna do it once or twice, or so a very few amounts of time, and you can put the game out at whatever price you choose. Obviously, I've seen what was that one on PlayStation 3 that came out that was like the 120-man shooter. It came out at $120. What was it? Damn, I can't remember.
No idea.
Arma?
No, I don't remember. Bobby used to play it. He loved it.
Oh, I don't know.
I can't remember the name of it right now, but you can put out a game at whatever price you choose, I suppose, because some games come out at $40, right? I've seen some come out at $40.
Very rarely, yes.
But yeah, but
they're
I've
not
seen some.
AAA titles. The games come out in all price ranges, but AAA titles
No, I'm just talking about
only
I'm a
come
console
out at
gamer.
$60.
I'm talking about going to the store and looking on a shelf and that bitch says $40 new and it dropped yesterday, and I've seen that.
Yeah, but
Lost
it's rare.
Planet was one of them, maybe.
Dragon's Dogma was one of them.
I think the question I want you to answer, Mark, is they've made a shit reputation for themselves with DLC, and especially day one DLC. And they've made a hell shit reputation for themselves with microtransactions. Would it not be smarter just to slowly increase the cost of your game and avoid all of those shit reputation makers?
Well, I mean, that's fair, Clay, but I'm sure they went to somebody in some marketing firm and said, we need to make more money on these games. How can we do it without raising the cost? And some little fat, bald bastard sat there and said,
Why you got to be hating on fat bald people?
That's
right?
me.
Goddamn, Mark.
That's me. I mean, what the fuck? It's me. It was probably white too, all right, goddammit.
He probably was.
And said, why don't we give him lives? Or why don't you add, like, he could buy a baseball hat of his favorite team? And they were like, holy shit, gold mine. So instead of raising the price on the game, he's like, we'll just add DLC. And then not only that, instead of making the game $100, we'll charge them $120 because we're going to make each of our things $20, and there's going to be 3 of them, and you're going to buy that.
I
It's
guess
beautiful.
there's some marketing savvy to the idea that when people spend in increments, they don't feel like they're spending as much. You make a fine point in that, yes, they're going to spend $60 on those 3 map packs, but they don't feel like they're spending $60 because they're only doing it $15 to $20 at a time.
Yes, but see, you're
It's
doubling the cost
ingenious.
of the
You're
game.
a genius, Mark.
Yes, that's it. Somebody sat down and they figured that shit out. I'm sure some marketing firm somewhere is a billionaire and bought an island. All right, because
No, they get a flat fee.
Damn, I'm demanding a raise next time. But regardless, somebody somewhere came up with the brilliant idea of that. And you're right. I mean, I remember always having to pay $50 or $60 for video games. And actually, I remember when it changed. When did it change? Xbox 360, PlayStation 3
Yeah, I think so.
is when it changed from 50 to 60. And I was like, damn, just getting me. So,
But we still bought them.
of course, I still bought them, all of them. So, but it was just a beautiful method, and they figured it out. And this way, I mean, and let's be honest, how many people are buying DLC? Obviously in Fallout, lots of them. And obviously in microtransaction, lots and lots of them.
Well, in general, enough to make it a profitable practice.
And way more profitable than dropping $100 game on you.
Yeah, you're so right. So right.
They're bastards.
I stand so corrected. They wouldn't do it if it wasn't profitable.
Exactly. Dude, they're making games that took somebody an hour and a half to make millions of dollars. So, dude, they figured it out.
I have been saying for, 10 years that free-to-play is the wave of the future. Since the first free-to-play game I ever played, I've been saying it's the wave of the future, particularly in reference to MMORPGs. They make so much money, so much more money on microtransactions by chipping out parts of the game or giving you little bonuses than they would have off the $15 monthly subscription fee, that it's ridiculous. And then, when profits dip, they can just abandon the game entirely.
Yeah, there was... I don't want to pin it on Ubisoft, but I believe there was an Ubisoft financial report that, God, I wish I could remember where I saw it, that labeled that not only, which would be a surprise to anyone, that PC is Ubisoft's biggest market because they treat PC like shit, but also that post-launch sales, that is everything that comes after, whether it's DLC or in-game transactions, microtransactions, whatever, accounts for 60% of their revenue. So it's more profitable to sell chunks than it is to sell games.
Yep.
And why is that? Because that's the way the consumers voted with their wallets. You hate microtransactions, you hate DLC, don't fucking buy the things.
But there's enough people, like you said, that article said it was 0.15% of the people are the ones making them the money. So it doesn't matter how far you spread, don't buy it. Stop spending your money. There's one fat cat sitting there spending $6,700 a month.
Yeah.
Bam.
You know, I mean, all you can do is vote with your wallet as a consumer in any
every
realm.
Every day.
Video games aside, video games is big business and small impact. But everything in your consuming life, everything you put money towards is a vote of your wallet. And it's the only vote you get as a consumer.
Damn microtransactions. They're bastards, and they're getting filthy rich off of it.
They are, and it's not our fault. It's the minority's fault.
I've never spent $1.
God damn it, Donald Trump.
God damn you, Donald. Well, that's the end of our time here, listeners. Find us on Twitter and Facebook and all the other social platforms that you search on the Google machine. If you're watching us on YouTube and want to have us on the go, find us on SoundCloud and iTunes, your favorite podcast apps. all that good sort of stuff. Tell your friends about us. Of course, we're looking to expand our brand, and we have more giveaways coming, so tell everybody. Thanks, everyone.
Enjoy.
Be easy.